Good morning. My name is Veronica Villacres de NOBOA, and today I will be presenting a personal grief reflection about my father leaving home when I was a teenager. I will also be providing details of the impact and the consequences his absence caused to our family, and how I feel this experience has influenced me as I develop as a future counselor. During this presentation, I will be using the GIFT reflective cycle to guide my reflection, as well as focusing on the impact my father's absence had on my life and how this experience may influence on my counseling practice. I will also be integrating relevant grief theory with my personal experience to provide a better understanding of how lived experiences can influence a personal development, along with how my own experience may influence my counseling practice and self-awareness. I will start by describing my experience of my father leaving home when I was 17 years old. I am the eldest of my siblings, a 15 years old sister, and an 11 years old brother. I remember becoming very aware of the emotional impact this separation had on the three of us. My father's absence created a significant change in our family emotions and dynamics. After my father left, my father started working 3 different jobs each day: pastry cooking at home in the mornings, working as a kitchen hand in a restaurant in the afternoons, and painting souvenirs in a factory at night times, and continue pastry cooking later each day at home, each evening. As a result of this, we wasn't spending much time with our mother. However, according to my mother, these additional responsibilities and changes were necessary in order to provide food, rent, and schooling. My mother's absence was very noticeable. Nothing was tidy as it used to be. We weren't doing our chores. And while my mother was away, I had to make sure my sister and my brother arrived home safely after school, and that everything was taken care of until my mom returned home. Over time, my dad started visiting us. He drives a motorbike, and he used to take us for a ride, having lunch together. That was once a week at the beginning. Eventually, that was reduced. Those visits were reduced to once a month, once every 3 months, and even once every 5 months. The relationship between my father and I gradually deteriorate, and the lack of his consistent presence gradually affected the bond we once had, until eventually I lost contact with him. The experience of not having my father at home anymore was very sad. His absence made me develop unpleasant feelings for him. I remember feeling emotionally confused and angry for what I was experiencing, and I blamed him for it. His abandonment made me feel worthless. I also have feelings of hopelessness, as I wanted to do something to ease my mother and my siblings' pain. But no matter how much I tried, I ended up doing nothing for them. And I felt lost, completely lost trying to do something, and I couldn't. I also experienced feelings of vulnerability, and I was worried about their safety. Not having my father and my mother at home anymore left me feeling unprotected, unsafe, and scared. I also experienced feelings of guilty, and I was wondering what I did wrong. I thought I did something wrong to provoke that, my family broke down. I was asking many questions to myself, why that was happening. Everything was very different, and I felt really disconnected to the world, with the world. It didn't feel good. I remember my dad drives a motorbike, and I remember when I heard the sound of a motorbike, I remember turning my head around to find him. But after he left, I couldn't do that. When I heard the sound of a motorbike, I started hiding from him. I don't know why, but that's what I felt at that time. And I remember that experience very clearly. During this time, I also faced a number of challenges. At times, I tended to withdraw myself emotionally, and I was avoiding to have contact with everyone, including my siblings. Don't know why again, but that's how I felt. I started taking on adult responsibilities. At such a young age, I was physically and emotionally disconnected, and it was very challenging for me to start doing adult work. Before, I used to help my mother to go to the grocery shops. I helped my mother to cook, and I used to help her back then to wash the clothes by hand. But now, after my dad left, I was cooking by myself, I was going to the grocery shop by myself, and I was washing by hand all the clothes by myself. It was very challenging for me to take on board all those new duties. I felt emotionally and physically exhausted. I couldn't balance household duties, homework from schools. I used to go to bed very late. Handling all of those changes at home was very challenging for me. I felt like I was losing my personality, my identity. Once again, I blame my father for it. My emotional distress made it difficult to cope with the changes occurring within my family. Additionally, the lack of support made our situation even harder to process. My father's family turned their back on us. We didn't know why. And my mom's family lived in a different city, far away from where we used to live. So we were all alone, just the four of us. We weren't five anymore. In relation to my counseling practice, I understand that this experience may reemerge as countertransfers in therapeutic work and may influence my responses to clients, particularly those experiencing similar relational loss. I am also aware of the importance of monitoring my reactions and responses to clients to ensure that I remain present, professional, and focused on their needs. Despite my mother being deeply affected about my father leaving home, my mother was my greatest emotional support and guidance. She helped me learn the acceptance during difficult times. I remember telling my mom that I hate my father for the pain he was causing her. And she told me, I cannot force you to love your father because I cannot control the feelings of your heart, but I can force you and ask you to respect him because he is your father. Also, the problem is between your father and myself, is not yours. And we're going to handle it the best way as possible. My mother encouraged me to remember only the kindness in my father, like the many times he saved little creatures from the water. A spider was in the water and he saved the spider. He saved a little mice in trouble. He used to give sweets, clothes to those kids less fortunate in every Christmas. And that was for a long time. That was something nice that I remember from my dad. We weren't rich, but my dad found a way to collect clothes from other people, making raffles, something very meaningful to help others. And that's something that I carry on my heart from my dad. Through this experience, I came to recognize the values I hold. My mother, especially, she played a significant role in helping me regulate my emotions. I also started writing poems and singing. I now believe that writing and singing became my healthy coping strategies to help myself process my emotions in a safely manner. This experience helped me understand the importance of emotional expression, support systems, and resilience, which may positively influence my ability to empathize with and support clients experiencing relational loss. Next, I will explain how my experience of attachment and the loss of my father can be better understood through several theories and concepts. In this case, my experience can be understood through attachment theory by Bowlby, which highlights the importance of consistent parental presence in emotional development. Not having my father at home made me develop feelings of confusion and a sense of uncertainty. As at the age of 17, I was beginning to seek autonomy. However, the loss of my father disrupted that process and affected my sense of identity, as it was difficult to let go of my father and adjust to a new life without him. After my father's abandonment, I felt emotionally unsafe, and a sense of insecurity began growing within me. After losing my father figure, it was everything different. Everything changed inside of me. I felt insecure. Through attachment theory, I was able to recognize how parental loss and inconsistent emotional presence can affect emotional safety, relationships, and feelings of security, which may help inform my counseling practice when working with clients experiencing similar experiences. My experience can also be understood through the concept of ambiguous loss, where a person is physically absent but remain emotionally present, or the other way around, physically present and emotionally absent. In my case, my father was no longer living at home with us. His guitar was gone, and so was the smell of the bread he used to bake every morning. Although my father was no longer physically present at home, there always was something that reminded me of him. A joke he used to make and to make us laugh a lot, or when listening one of his favorite songs on the radio, and now we were listening without him. But he was there in my heart and in my memories. Sometimes I used to ask myself why he left, what was greater than his own family. But those unanswered questions left me feeling emotionally stuck, almost as if I was living in an emotional limbo. That's how I felt. That emboss indicates that uncertainty within the family system prevents closure. This painful experience may deepen my understanding and ability to provide support to clients experiencing grief, family separation, and unresolved emotional pain. My experience can be also understood through meaning making, which suggests that after a loss, people often try to make sense of their experience and rebuild their understanding of themselves and the world around them. In my case, I try hard to reconstruct my life and identity, as well as reconstructing my relationships with others. Over time, I learned to continue life as it comes and accept my life as it was. A strong sense of reconstruction grew within me, and this allowed me to live happy. That's how I feel now. After all that time feeling lost, confused, a sense of losing my identity, I have a happy life now. I can't deny that sometimes something twisting my heart and in my brain, but I'm learning to control it. I used to cry. Not long ago, I used to cry, but not now. During this process, I developed resilience and experienced personal growth. That's correct. I learned to adapt to the emotional impact of my father's absence. That's true. In a way that allowed me to move forward. Those are my words. That's what I feel. I feel I'm still emotionally connected to my father, especially when I help my children, yes, with paintings and drawing, or when we sing out loud in the car. That's the connection I have with my father. Because I used to paint with my father, I used to sing, he used to help me. I learned to draw. I'm a very good drawer because of him. My daughter is a very good drawer. So he is here with me. I feel really connected with him, with the experiences that remind me of him, the experiences we have at home. As a future counselor, this awareness will help me to support clients in making meaning of their own experiences, as described by Nehmeyer, who suggests that disruptions can lead to reconstruction. I agree with that. This concept also helped me understand how my experience may shape my therapeutic responses. I felt that I had grown as a human being through this experience, as I developed a sense of empathy, respect, and understanding, particularly for those who have experienced similar emotions. This reflects that Sweden suggests that personal experience of loss can increase empathy in the therapist. I agree with that. As a future counselor, this experience reinforces my responsibility to maintain self-awareness and monitor countertransfers, as my personal grief may influence my responses. It has also helped me to recognize personal triggers related to parental abandonment and emotional disconnection. Even when I understand the pain my clients are going through, my role is to support and guide them so they can learn to manage their emotions related to their experience in a healthy way. I understand the importance of maintaining healthy professional boundaries to avoid becoming emotionally over-involved in my clients' experiences. Therefore, it is my responsibility to prioritize my clients' well-being. To support my development as a counselor and maintaining therapeutic presence, I have created an action plan. This includes engaging in regular supervision to process countertransfers and emotional responses, ongoing self-reflection, and grounding strategies such as journaling and creative expressions as form of emotional processing. I also plan to engage in ongoing training in grief and trauma-informed practice to ensure I remain client-focused and emotionally regulated in practice. This will support both my well-being and my ability to provide effective and ethical counseling. Through this reflection, I recognize that unresolved aspects of my grief, particularly related to abandonment and emotional disconnection, may influence my responses to clients. I have included a list of references at the end of this presentation that I found meaningful and relevant to the reflection I have presented, and also to support the theories and research discussed. Thank you for listening.